Hey everyone, welcome to my Aither Labs video blog. So Aither Labs is part of the Aither technology where we get to play around with some fun stuff and share it with you all. My name is Nick Walker. I'm the president of Aither. If you've been following maybe some of my other blogs, check out my blog on building your own crypto trading bot. I have been using Lambda quite a lot when working with some of our clients. Pretty much every time I have kind of a new challenge or task that comes from a client, Lambda is almost always jumping to mind as a possible solution to the problem. It's just extremely powerful and flexible in the way that AWS has kind of tied it into all its different services, makes it really simple to build and just extremely powerful. So in this video, I'm going to show you some like a neat solution to redirecting a DNS name to a specific URL. This is something that comes up a lot when you're kind of doing some sysadmin and routing stuff, routing different domains and having to shift SaaS applications and locations and things like that. For some reason, it seems like something that should be very simple, but it often becomes kind of a pain in the butt to do. There's some ways in AWS you can do it. You can set up S3 buckets that make them static web hosting that redirect. There's also some other neat ways I found using CloudFront and Lambda. Today I'm going to show you kind of a simple scenario, and I'm going to set this up as practical because we've got the domain name Aither Labs and it doesn't point anywhere right now. So I'm going to do that right here on this video and show you guys how to do it. So you can see I've got this architecture up here on the screen. Today, if you were to come in to aithertechnology.com and you would click on blog, it would take you to this path. So that would take you through Route 53. It would use an aithertechnology.com load balancer, which then goes to WordPress. This is what we use to host our site. And then within WordPress, it would take you to the blog. What I want to do is I want to have someone be able to type in aitherlabs.com, and I want to have it go straight to aithertechnology.com/blog. So that way, once we got all this cool stuff for you guys to come look at, there's different technical things we're going to show you. You don't have to remember to go to aithertechnology.com and click blog. You can just go to aitherlabs.com. Anyhow, it's just a fun thing that we're setting up. So the challenge is how do you do this? If this was for this one, what we're going to do is this is how we're going to solve it. So it's going to be a serverless solution, like I said, Lambda. And the way that we're going to do this is we are going to create a Lambda function that will just do a 302 redirect. Then once we have that function created, we'll tie that back into a load balancer. And then that load balancer will be referenced by Route 53 from www.aitherlabs.com to aitherlabs.com. And then that redirect function will automatically send you into the blog content. So I'll show you how to do this. All right, let's get started. So the first step in making this redirect happen is to create our Lambda function. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm here in the Ohio region and on my Lambda functions dashboard, and I'm going to go create function. I'm going to author this from scratch, and I'm going to call this aitherlabs-com redirect. And I'm going to do this in Python 3.9, and we do not need to set any additional permissions since this is just basically responding to an inbound request. It's not accessing any other infrastructure within our account. I will go ahead and create that. Now I have a Python function already created for this, and I will there's a link on the video to our open source repository for Aither Labs, and you can follow that link to get the code. I'm just going to cut and paste it in here so you can see it. I'll explain it real quick. So it's super simple. Basically, you're just forming a response object with the status code 302, which is a redirect, and and then you're going to pass it the location you want it to redirect to. And so this will be https://aithertechnology.com, and then we're going to send it to /blog. And so we'll save that, and then we will go ahead and deploy it. All right, so now that we have that deployed, we need to set up the load balancer to receive the inbound traffic. So to do this, we need to create a target group. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new target group, and you can see we can actually specify Lambda function as a target rather than instances or some other servers to send the traffic to. So we'll pick Lambda. The target group we're going to call aitherlabs.com target group. I will not turn on health checks because it's basically going to return the same thing every single time, and this just means our function is going to be running more and it'll just cost us money unnecessarily, even though it won't be that much over the course of a day. We're just going to leave that turned off. So click next. Now here is where we get to select a Lambda function that we're going to use. And so here's the function we just got done creating. So I'll select that, and we'll always just use the latest version. That way, if I need to make any updates or changes to it, it will automatically just go right into production. So I'll go ahead and create the target group. And then next, we just need to create the load balancer. So we're going to go ahead and create an application load balancer. I'll say create. And the load balancer name, again, we'll call it Aither Labs. .com/ELB. Internet facing IPv4. We will just use the default VPC that I have set up and make it available in all these different AZs. And then for the security group, I have previously created this Aither Labs -com-sg. And all this does is just a completely open security group. It has no blocking restrictions. So all inbound traffic, all outbound traffic is allowed. We'll let the ports be restricted by what's open on the IP address coming into the load balancer. So on the load balancer itself, we have HTTP set up by default. We need to pick the target group that the requests are going to be forwarded to. So here is your Aither Labs -com-target group. So we will select that, and then we will also add a listener for HTTPS. Create add listener, select HTTPS, sets the port for you, then allows you to also pick this target group. So now that I have that target group set up, because we added HTTPS, we do need to pick a certificate to use. I also already have an aitherlabs.com certificate, which I created with ACM, and that is already in place. I'm not going to go through that process. So go ahead and then we'll create. Okay, so while we've got this load balancer provisioning, we're going to go ahead, and the last step is to add in our DNS entries. So I'm going to go ahead and create records for aitherlabs.com and for www.aitherlabs.com. So the endpoint is going to be an application load balancer, and this is in the Ohio region. And the load balancer is the aitherlabs-com-lb that we created. So we go ahead and select that and create record. And then we'll create one more record, which will be to www, and this will be a CNAME, and it will go to aitherlabs.com. Create that record. All right, so now we have everything in place. Now we just need to test it. So let's go see how our load balancer is doing, if that is out yet. Still. And now our load balancer is active. So let's go ahead and test it. So here is the URL for our load balancer. So if I open a new tab here, put this in, boom, takes us to aithertechnology.com/blog, which is the correct redirect. Now we want to test the DNS entries to make sure those are working. So we'll start with aitherlabs.com. That also redirects us here to aithertechnology.com/blog and www.aitherlabs.com also brings us right back to here. So when you're using the aitherlabs.com domain name from now on. You now know and have watched us set that up. And I hope you all enjoyed this demonstration using Lambda and ELB to do a domain redirect to a specific URL. Look for more great video and written blog content from Aither. My name is Nick Walker. See you next time.